AI is at the peak of inflated expectations. And if you believe the hype around it, you may end up damaging your business or your reputation. Hello, welcome back to the podcast. I'm Dean Seddon. I want to talk to you today about AI. I love AI. I think it's brilliant. It's made my life so much easier. But there is a huge amount of hype going on right now about what AI can actually do. And I'm talking to a lot of people. I'm looking at a lot of AI companies, a lot of tools on a daily basis, and many of them are basically just not getting it. It's just not good enough. And so, I've tried email inbox tools, I've tried content creation tools. And if you think about it, AI is the average of the internet. It's the average of the internet. If you are really, really bad at something, it's probably going to make you a little bit better. But if you are above average in an area, it's probably going to make you worse. And it's really crazy about things like AI psychosis and how it's affecting us, how it's changing our vocabulary. But there's an interesting stat from MIT that 95% of AI projects fail to deliver any value whatsoever. So big companies are sinking huge amounts of money into deploying AI tools that aren't actually adding any value. There's also some research that the big layoffs that we've seen of late, actually AI is just a cover for excessive or trimming the fat, as they say, in companies that overhired during the pandemic. So there is no doubt that AI has some value. There's no doubt that AI can help you in many, many ways. But I'll let you hear from my experience. I don't like the fact that AI is default telling me what I want to hear. I don't like the fact that when it gets it wrong, it's saying, "Oh, you're so right." I cannot trust AI because it's designed to please me. It tells me what I want to hear. And so I have to be very cautious about using it because it may actually just reinforce something and tell me what I'm doing is good when actually it's shite. Another thing that has worried me of late is the patterns I'm seeing in outreach. I get a lot of people messaging me as, my job title is a CEO. So I get a lot of outreach that way. But here's the weird thing. I updated my job title to social selling coach. And the coaching industry is one of those industries where lots of marketing and lead gen go after it because it's an industry that notoriously does not know how to sell itself very well. And because I've got that keyword in my profile, I get approached by lead gen, AI companies, AI sales people, all sorts of stuff all the time because I got that coach word in one of my job titles. The quality of the outreach coming from some of these AI companies and AI tools is shockingly poor, like shockingly poor. The patterns are the same. The fake personalization. "Oh, Dean, loved your post about blah, 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 blah," with this pathetic, like unopinionated second half of the sentence. "Oh, Dean, loved your post about how AI outreach is trash." It really got me. It really had some strong points. What strong points? The weird genericism. And I'm seeing it in my inboxes everywhere. And a lot of it is AI. It's clever in the sense of it's picking up things and quoting back to me things I've said in my posts, but without any opinion, which makes it feel like weird. It's like a weird ending. And a lot of people, when I do workshops, are raising their hand and saying, "Yeah, I get these weird AI. I can spot it." And so I just don't think the technology is good enough right now to trust it to let it go and do its thing blind. Even though I teach people how to use AI, I say to people, the best way to use AI is to make you better, not replace you. And so AI, I always think about it like a researcher. like an admin person behind you. There's some things it can do really, really well, but anything critical needs to be checked because, it's just really not good enough. Ed Zitron, I think that's how you say his surname. He's a critic of AI, not of AI in general, but of just the hype around it. There's very little ROI being developed beyond singular use cases. Businesses can't just deploy full-blown systems, but systems in isolation are, sending reminder emails for overdue invoices. AI can look at that and do that. That's really simple stuff. The simple stuff AI is very good at. But when I scroll LinkedIn and I see people saying, this is my tech stack, and they list like 30 different AI tools, I sometimes think, how much are those tools costing you? And at some point, like, it just doesn't make sense to have all these tools. Like, they're saying their business is getting easier, but they got all of these freaking subscriptions and complexity in there. And there's some things, and I found myself doing this at times, actually sat there doing something in AI, and I know I would have done it by now, but I've gone to AI, and actually it's took me more time, took me longer. I've actually sometimes got great ideas to do things and not done it because I got fed up of the idea because I've worked on it with AI. Now, I want to explore that for a minute because I think there is a coming problem of that people will realize there's going to be kind of maybe not two camps, but two big camps. There's going to be some people, a lot of people who are going to blindly trust AI and it's going to make them stupid. Like they're going to be unable to think for themselves, unable to critically analyze their own work, unable to research without AI, and so they will believe what they are fed. Like those same people who see a post on social media and believe it just because they've seen it. There are going to be those people, a huge chunk of those people, number one. And there's going to be a batch of people who don't trust what AI does, the extremes. I worry for the people who blindly end up trusting it. And I also worry for the people who don't avoid it because the world is moving that way. And, the reality is that AI can be very useful within a defined and limited scope. But we are seeing some danger signs from AI that people are blindly trusting it, AI psychosis. But one of the things that gives me confidence for my own business, actually, is the fact that if AI adoption keeps growing and if AI keeps improving, the one thing that will not change is human beings. Human beings don't really change. And if you give human beings access to more information, more knowledge, they end up making less decisions. Their ability to choose the right path gets harder. Paradox of choice. I'm also confident that as we use AI more, our craving for human experiences will increase. And that creates an opportunity for me to have some more longevity. Me going down the AI road, and I thought about this, what if I went and shifted my whole business down the AI road? Like just put everything ditch LinkedIn, ditch social selling, and go all into AI. And I thought, I have no idea where this industry is going. And I'm not old. I don't think of myself as old. But do I want to be in an industry where basically everything you know can date in a day? Do I really want to be in an industry like that where literally I start the day, new game-changing thing takes off, it goes viral around the world, everybody wants to do it, and now everything I've built has to be replaced? My social selling training course, that's a pain in the ass because every time something changes on a platform, you have to update the training. Imagine doing that with AI. It's horrific. It's scary. Imagine being in a space where literally you live or die by the day. And so I decided I would not go down that route and go all in AI. I would adopt and look for the human opportunities that will still exist. And so the big one for me is human judgment, human relationships, human decision-making, understanding your customer. These things, yes, AI can help you, but at the end of the day, you have to make a call. You have to make a decision. And so I've focused on, because of the uncertainty of where AI is, and a lot of people believe we're in an AI bubble. I don't know whether we're in an AI bubble, but my experience tells me that what I see being promoted in the feeds, what I see them talking about, and my reality and my day-to-day experience of AI is that there's something missing from what they're talking about and my day-to-day experience. AI is just not good enough right now to do the things. Some of the things, I see people pushing guides about how to do things with AI, and then I look at what they're doing in their business, and I go, I'm not sure that's possible. I actually put one person's whole step-by-step methodology of how they use AI through ChatGPT, Gemini, and Claude, and asked it, how viable is it to do this? And AI itself said, this is full of holes. Any tips you see about AI, go and put them into AI and ask AI to critique whether this will work. And AI will come back to you and tell you, kind of, but not fully. It won't do what you want it to do. So my assumption is that there's a lot of people who are being swept along with the hype and maybe promoting things and doing things that they are telling you they do things that they don't actually do themselves. I know full well that many of the influencers right now are being paid by AI tools to promote them. Don't use them until they've been paid. And then they use them briefly and revert back. So I don't trust what I see people saying that AI does, because my experience of some of the tools and some of the things that they do is they don't work. At some point, we will get a moment of truth with AI. And my warning for you is be careful what tools you invest in, because there will be a consolidation. There's too many tools for the market right now, and there's too many tools that are not quite good enough that are eventually going to fail because AI's scalability problem. And I'll just briefly talk about how I see this scalability problem. So AI, unlike SaaS software, so Zero Accounting or any of those tools that you've had for years, HubSpot, Hootsuite, Salesforce, all of these tools we've had before AI are what we call SaaS software. Now, those tools operate on a completely different model where their business case, their business model, their costs do not scale with their users and their usage. So if you used Canva to create graphics, Canva's not worried about how much you use Canva because their costs do not scale with your usage. So if you make 10 designs a day every day, Canva doesn't care because their servers can handle it. AI is a different model, and AI tools work on a different model because their costs scale with your usage. So if I use AI tool more, it costs the company more. And so we will see a consolidation because the margins on AI, we're not prepared to pay for what we use. We want to pay one price and just use it. And that means that some companies, and Ed Zitron said, actually, some of the companies are losing money right now just to acquire users in the hopes that they can somehow find a viable way to make it work. So there are the model of AI tools is different, and some of them are deliberately losing money, and they've got investors, and their whole business model is built around the old way, but forgetting the fact that actually their costs are not going to change. The costs scale with their users. So, if I hammer ChatGPT like crazy today, I will cost ChatGPT or OpenAI more than the average user. Now, most of these tools have exactly the same problem. And so if we start using some of these tools heavily, they could lose money on their subscriptions. That's why many of them are putting caps in and stuff like that. But we're not used to that model. You can only do so many things per day. And so we lose interest. It doesn't become embedded. The behavior doesn't become embedded to use it over and over and over again. So their model and the way we use tools is in conflict. They need us to use the tools all the time so they stick. But actually, if we use them all the time, we become unprofitable as users. They actually need us to use it hardly any to make real good money. They want to basically us to sign up for the service and don't use it very much. That's how they make money. So there's a whole host of problems, and I would encourage you to be very careful about right now what tools you invest in and what tools you commit to, because one, they're changing so fast. Two, there's going to be some consolidation, and there's a ton of hype that we're not sure how much of this stuff is real, how much of this stuff is actually sustainable, how much of this stuff doesn't break. Some of the people are commenting that they've used custom GPTs and gems, and heavy usage of the gems, they get shitter and shitter and shitter, and they have to do hard resets to avoid it carrying stuff through and kind of becoming so people-pleasery that actually it's useless. So this is not a throw AI away. It's use case and look at, can I use it? Should I be using it for this purpose? It's definitely overhyped. Half the stuff you're seeing in the feed, or at least half the stuff that you're seeing in the feed, is totally impractical. And so there is an advantage for people. Some people I respect are saying this, that you're going to be left behind if you use AI, if you don't adopt AI. To some degree, that's true. But do you need to become an AI first business or you're going to be left behind? No. We are at the beginning of this journey, and binary hyperbole like your business is going to be destroyed if you don't fully adopt AI is nonsense. It's just the hyperbole that comes out in the middle of a hype curve. And so, yeah, AI is brilliant. I use it all the time. But for God's sake, humans are smarter than AI. Humans understand and can pick up on things that AI can't see. Humans need to be really good at making decisions. Now, in the future, AI might change, but according to all the data, it's nowhere near that. And some of the speculation around this is they don't actually know how to get to that full-blown AI that will actually be good enough to replace us. It's just not there yet. So what's the point of me sharing this? I'm focused on the human problems. I'm focused on the problems that AI will create, not the problems AI solves. If you're focused on the problems that AI solves, you are at risk. If you're focused on the problems that AI can't solve, you're good. And so that's human judgment, human relationships, human decision-making. AI can't solve those. And that's what I'm doing. That's why I'm sticking hard to social selling, helping people get clients, because that's human decisions, it's human judgments, it's human relationships. And that's not going anywhere.